All right, welcome back to another episode, another video, another whatever this is. Maybe there's not meant to be an official intro. Maybe it's just meant for me to just start talking. So today I decided to come out to Alexander Park. It's a park that I've come to for years. Different times of the day, of course, and not every day. So you might not catch me out here if you try to come and find me. I decided to come out for a walk today instead of going to the gym because I've wanted to be outside for a pretty long time now. I think that being outside and being a part of nature is incredibly important for the soul, for your inner being. We're so contained within four walls almost all the time. I think we've lost sight of how important it is to touch grass, you know, to feel the trees and to feel the dew and to just experience life. We're always constantly around things that have been built by human hands. We don't really appreciate the things that have been built and created by his hands. That's a very important thing to kind of keep in mind. And I genuinely believe now, more than ever, people are beginning to give God more space in their life. I don't necessarily believe that there are more non-believers than there are believers. Now, granted, there's so many different perspectives, there's so many different philosophies, so many different viewpoints when it comes to God. Well, God is Buddha, God is this, and God is that. I'm not here to tell you anything about what God is and isn't. All I'm saying here, the observation that I'm making is that this has obviously been created. I can't prove it, right? I cannot prove it. Just like a non-believer cannot prove that it was not created. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us you need faith. You need faith to believe that this was not created. You also need faith to believe that this was created. Neither side can prove scientifically. Nobody can go back all the way to the Big Bang, or nobody can go back to when God said and uttered the words, "Let there be light." Right? So there's that to think about. But bringing it back down to not reality, but bringing it back down here, and this video, I am going to try to not make any edits. Now, there might be some edits, I'm not sure, every single time that I do one of these videos and I look back and I watch it and analyze and review what it is that I am doing or speaking, there always seems to be some part of the video that I have to clip out, which is fine because I am just getting started on this journey. But I really do hope that these videos inspire and motivate someone who's been wanting to start and primarily start a YouTube channel. Now, granted, this channel, I don't really have a clear direction for the channel just yet. I mean, the channel can be for any number of reasons, but I am using it in a way to just kind of show up for myself and stay consistent in something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, and I never took action on until just recently. And so there's two things that I want you to keep in mind. If you are anything like me, you've struggled and still struggle with these two things. And so you have to make an intentional effort to not struggle with them, or to at least face them so that you don't struggle with them as hard or as whatever, just as hard, right? Number one, taking action is often met with a lot of resistance. There's a part of us in our DNA, for whatever reason, that craves and longs for comfort, right? And comfort is known as what? It's warm, it's soft, it's easy. There's really no difficulty with comfort. It's just there. And so you have to look at comfort and you have to kind of hate it. You have to kind of hate comfort, because comfort's always going to keep you exactly in the same place that you complain about year after year, day after day, month after month, week after week. So, if you're not really capable or willing to look at comfort in the face and say, screw you, comfort, then just don't complain, because you're complaining about something that you can fix yourself and you're just not doing it. So stop complaining if you're not going to do something about it. Save your breath and save us all from having our ears bleed from having you complain about something that you could change. So either get up and do something about it or just shut your mouth. And that's how I talk to myself. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to me. But that is the way that you're supposed to talk to yourself if you are trying to accomplish something with your life. Nobody's coming to save you. If you don't come to certain realizations on your own, no one's gonna come and open up your mind for you. You've gotta kind of open up your mind yourself. So number one is the whole take action thing. And number two is, staying consistent. Once you've decided to take action, once you've decided to do something different than what you normally do, then that's when the real battle begins. I mean, taking action is its own battle, right? Getting to that place where you need to take action is its own battle. But I think the greater battle is staying consistent, because anyone can do anything one time. I can come out here and run a mile one time. But what about tomorrow when my legs hurt? Will I come out here? Will I run another mile, 2, 3, whatever the case is? Oftentimes, we're the ones standing in our way of the achievements that we seek to achieve. And so you'll see so many different books talking about how, if you only just got out of your own way, if you only just, realize that it's been a you versus you thing all along. Nobody else is in your way. Nobody else is coming against you. Nobody else is setting themselves up against you. It's just you against you. The biggest hater, the biggest enemy really is ourselves, And I'm not saying anything new here. I'm not saying anything new. Everything that I'm saying, I'm pretty much regurgitating from the books that I've read, from the podcasts that I've listened to. Whatever information I've got within me is the only information I can convey to you. You just happen to be watching this video right now for whatever reason. What kind of information are you putting into yourself so that it can serve you well? And it can serve you in those two areas, taking action and staying consistent with the action that you take. I'm gonna get a little personal now with some things. And sorry, today I didn't bring that stabilizer DJI gimbal thing that I often reference in my other videos because of the love-hate relationship I have with it. When it comes to achievement in life, I can't really say that I'm proud of myself for the things that I've accomplished. I've experienced a lot of setbacks in my life. I've experienced a lot of failures. Cut through here. I've experienced a lot of failures. And a lot of these failures have not allowed me, all my fault. I don't blame anybody for where I find myself in my life at the moment. For a very long time, I blamed my parents. I blamed the circumstances. I blamed God. I blamed how I was born. I blamed everyone. Everybody was at fault for everything. But I'm not sure exactly when that mentality shifted. I think it started happening little by little. Recently, I just started listening to this book by David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. It's a great book. I recommend it for anybody looking to shake the rust off of the action-taking person that you have existing within you. Shake the rust. I like that term, shake the rust. But anyways, David Goggins has motivated me because in spite of all of the setbacks, in spite of all of the things that he was born into and born with, this man had so many things working against him. He was able to overcome in such a way that his achievements eclipsed or overshadowed the achievements of people who were born in really ideal situations. The situation that you're born into and whatever circumstances you have as part of your design, they're not enough to keep you down, right? Unless you let it be something that keeps you down. I'm gonna set this down. For some reason, my shoulders just can't take it. My shoulders need some rest. But anyways, it's good. Because now we can kind of just chat here for a minute and see where the video takes us. But I've been listening to David Goggins and I've looked at myself and I've said, there's absolutely no reason why I can't be any further in my life. And if you are going to go after certain things, certain goals, certain achievements, you're gonna have to first and foremost look at yourself in the mirror. You're gonna have to ask yourself, what have I not done? What have I procrastinated on? What have I put to the side and have said, I'm gonna get to that later, right? For me, like I said, I'm gonna get a little personal with this. Growing up, I struggled hard with my vitiligo. As you can see, I've got vitiligo on my hands, on my lips, my eyes. You can see them on my eyes, and I don't cover myself like that. I've accepted and I've completely come to terms with the fact that this is something that is part of my story, and it should empower me to move. Like David Goggins' setbacks and things that he couldn't control, not setbacks, things that he couldn't control. He didn't allow those things to dictate how far he would go in life. And so growing up, I really let my vitiligo dictate. Yay, I sat in the dampness. I let my vitiligo pretty much dampen. I let my vitiligo, and not only my vitiligo, there's plenty of other things, like my nose, my ears, like that stuck out as a kid. I had really big ears. I was skinny, very, very skinny. There were so many things that I looked at myself and said, I hate this, I hate that. You start hating on yourself. Oftentimes, the biggest hater you've got is you. Yesterday, I was watching a video. I'm not sure if you know this person or not. It's really not important for you to know this person unless you want to go and research this person. But I watched an interview with Tekashi 6ix9ine. And I think it was an interview that was like done 7 years ago when he was first coming onto the scene and he was getting very famous and things of that nature. And this is a guy who dressed with purple, orange, green hair, a rainbow grill in his mouth, tattooed all over his face. This is an individual that was not supposed to, quote unquote, succeed. This is an individual that was supposed to be looked at, in a sense, kind of like a clown. But the way he carried himself and the way he believed in himself allowed for him to achieve the things that he wanted to go after. And so that showed me that regardless of your physical appearance, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. This man had a bulletproof mind. He was saying of himself, come here, little ant. He was saying of himself, I'm the king of the city, talking about New York. You know, how he's the hottest artist on the scene right now. Greater than all of the artists that were really jumping or hopping or whatever term you want to use in that time 7 years ago. He believed he was the best. He believed that nobody was doing or pulling the numbers that he was pulling, right? And so it got me to thinking, if this man, who was pretty much looked at in a very ridiculous kind of way by a lot of people, I'm not going to say by everybody, because the people that he surrounded himself with didn't really see him as a clown. They welcomed him as one of their own. They recognized him as one of their own. And so he embraced that. He was welcomed. He had a community, right? A lot of times we don't achieve the things we want to achieve because we don't have people in our lives who are encouraging the thoughts that we have about ourselves, the positive thoughts. Oftentimes what we run into more are people who are saying things like, that's not something that you can do. I don't think that that's wise. I don't think you should, the naysayers, right? The naysayers. Let's get moving again since my shoulders are better. The naysayers. You're always going to have naysayers, whether they come from family, whether they come from friends or complete strangers. But the thing about it is, think about this for a minute. If you have naysayers in your family, that's probably, I'm going to start with that one. That's probably going to be the one that makes you struggle the most. Our family should be the greatest support system, right? And I've been blessed. I've been granted a wonderful mother who believes in me and supports me and things of that nature, and a great brother who I can't speak enough about him, but I'm not even going to go down that tangent. And unfortunately, I didn't really have the best relationship with my father. Still kind of don't. He's kind of an absent dude, and that's for him to find out. I've made my efforts, and Even with family, there are going to be times where you have to just pull back. You have to pull back and do for you. You have to pull back and realize that your family was there as your starting point. You were born into the family that you're born into, right? You can't choose that. What you can choose is the family you build. And if the family you're born into wants to be a part of the family that you build, you are the one that gives the opportunity for that to happen. Not by default, you settle into a family that happens to be what you fall into. If you're an adult, if you're a grown man, you get to choose. You get to decide who's part of that family circle, because then the next circle around that is your friends, right? People that are not blood family, who can become, not blood related, who can become family, because I do believe that there are individuals in this life that will come across and we're kindred spirits. It's like we're soulmates in the sense that this person's always gonna have your back. This person considers you before they even consider themselves. And that's the kind of person that I am. I consider my friends before I even consider myself. I'm typically the first one to always text someone. I'm typically the first one to always reach out to someone and ask, hey, how are you doing? How have things been? I'm always the one checking in, making sure that people are doing okay in their life. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
I'm typically the one that always checks up on people. And that right there is kind of like a good example, you know, like I don't wait for people to say good morning to me. And I'll be the one to first engage with people, because what I seek to see in the world first has to come from me. And so if you think about it, if you're not getting the things in your life that you want to get, chances are it's because you're not giving it. You're not giving it. You cannot expect people to be grateful for you if you do not express gratitude for them. It has to start with you. It has to start with you. If it doesn't start with you, you will never experience the things you want to experience in this life. And that's for anything: career, your dating life, your network, just anything. If you wait around for people to do the things that you're expecting them to do, you're going to be waiting around forever. And so anyways, I just challenge you to be the first one to take action on things that you want to see. But anyways, going back to the circles, right? You got your first circle, which is your family, your second circle, which is your friends. You've got to think about the fact that I might take another little break right here. Nice little spot. You might have to think about the fact that you are found a nice little rock right here. You might have to think about the fact that you are the first individual that everyone around you looks to for the things that they also seek in their life as well. A lot of people do not take action. Most people do not take action. And so one of the things that will separate you, squirrels are fighting somewhere. One of the things that's going to separate you in this life is taking action before you wait for anybody else to take action. Because all the waiting is definitely just going to consume your life. Take it from someone that actually waited a lot. I could have achieved wonders by now. And I haven't achieved everything that I want to achieve. I've achieved some things, but I could have achieved more. And I think that that's the mindset that you should have moving forward is, what more can I achieve? What more can I give? What more am I able to squeeze out of myself so that I know I gave it my all? But anyways, I don't want there to be a long period of time between, one thought to the next. So I am definitely going to probably end up editing some of this stuff. Which is fine. I mean, if you've got things that you've got to say, a message to convey, the people that are meant to hear it, they're going to hear it. Not everybody is meant to hear everyone's words. The greatest example of this is, while Jesus walked the earth, everyone didn't accept his words. The words were only accepted by a select few. And even though there were plenty of people that accepted his words, many turned their backs on him. Ultimately everyone turned their backs on him. It's kind of speculation a little bit, And whenever someone speculates about something, when it comes to Jesus and God and things of that nature, I always tend to think that people that speculate about these things need to be very careful about their speculation. When everyone abandoned Jesus, I also feel like he was abandoned by his Father. Now, granted, we don't understand all of the intricacies of the connection between Jesus and God and the Father and, things like that. But on the cross, he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? If that's not a statement of abandonment, then I don't know what is. Jesus died alone. He died alone. And I think that at that moment, he still, if he wanted to, this is a personal belief. If he wanted to get off that cross and just restore his body, probably could have. He obeyed even in the absence of his Father, which makes him superior to the first man that was created by God's hands, Adam. Adam was not obedient. When God left the garden, Adam was carried away by his desire to please his wife. Oh, Adam, I think we should eat from that tree over there. The serpent said it's good. Yeah, honey, I think that's a good idea. Idiot. But I think that it was all meant to happen that way, whatever, And so, what are you doing when you feel alone? What are you doing when you have no one around watching you, Your character and your integrity, those are the things that remain when no one's applauding, when no one is showing up to say how great you're doing, when the days are gloomy and ugly. You've got to find a way to push through those moments where you're feeling alone. And I think this video has gone on long enough. That's all I've got for you today. I hope you got something out of it. Hopefully you're watching this on 2x speed or something, but despite you feeling alone, I want you to get out and do something today. If you are motivated and encouraged enough to get out of YouTube at this very moment and go for a walk or go do something that you've been putting off for a while, then this video would have served its purpose. All right, we'll see you on the next one.